Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is time to do the summer 2024 makeup inventory. I'm very excited about this because I haven't done this in a year, and usually I do this every 6 months. My makeup kind of plateaued a bit the first 6 months, and then the decluttering started ramping up a little bit more, so now there's more change that I can actually document. I do replacement only or just low buy in general. I don't really like seek out makeup to buy too often, but that said, my collection is getting older and older because I haven't been buying makeup. But yeah, let's just get into it. Let's talk numbers. So we're gonna start with face primers. I have the same primer as I did last summer, so I only have one, and it is the Wet n Wild Impossible Primer. And while it's the same one, you can kind of see the usage on the bottle there. You can see it's like a lot more used up. I'm really excited about that. That doesn't have much more left to go in there. So it's a good primer. I usually like to have one of these, but we'll see after I finish this how I feel about repurchasing. I think it's a great primer. That's the type of primer I usually like. So it's like more of a pore filling type as opposed to like a moisturizer. So I really like that kind of thing. So we'll see. Eyeshadow primer, I had one last summer and I'm up to two now. I was using the NYX glitter primer as my regular eyeshadow primer by patting it down with powder, and then it was fine that way. And as you can see, compared to last year, that one's really beat up now. The label's starting to flake off on my hands, which is kind of annoying. So there's like glitter on my hands every time I try to use it, but it's almost finished. I think I have probably a week left to go with that. Literally use like a pin drop of that stuff and it goes on both eyes. But yeah, as you can see, I have a backup of that now when that one does run out. The other one's an Ulta one that is just a normal primer. Not a problem category. I don't like seek out eyeshadow primers. It's kind of like a one in, one out. Let's talk concealers. So I only have one concealer now, which was the same as last year, and I'm cracking up because it's the same exact one that I had a year ago. I really like this concealer. I don't like to have a buildup of concealers because it takes me so long to get through them, and I like to kind of be in and out with it. So this has been a good one so far. This is the Wet n Wild Incognito. I forget what shade it is, but I've been enjoying it. I could see myself repurchasing it again. I don't know, we'll see. Sometimes I like to be adventurous and try new things, and other times I just don't care. And yeah, so I don't even use this every day now, like in the summer. I use it some days if I want more coverage, but I don't know, I've been doing without some days as well. So that's been the vibe this summer. Next, we have brow products. 3 brow products this year, and it turns out they're the same exact ones as last year. I am working on finishing up the Morphe Micro Brow Pencil, and the NYX eyebrow gel looks like it's just about finished. I think there might be like a couple more uses in it, but I need to finish that up and pan it and get it out because it's looking kind of gross. But that's what happens with clear brow gel. It just changes colors if you use it over like a colored brow pencil. It's just how it goes. Sometimes I wear it by itself though too, so there's that. The Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade has been there forever, and it will continue to be there forever. I'm looking forward to just having that as my only colored brow product, and then maybe one clear brow gel. So I expect that number to be down by 1 next time. So again, not a problem category. Let's talk eyeliners. I had 8 eyeliners last summer, and now I'm down to 5. I finished one of them and decluttered 2. So now I'm down to my favorites, and I'm really excited about that. Next one I want to finish up is the black one, which is the really tiny one. It's interesting to see like how much smaller they've gotten, the ones that are left, compared to last year. So I know I'm definitely using all of these. There's no question about it. Really do enjoy the ones that I have left. So I'm really happy that number has come down. That category was a lot bigger back in the day, but we have shrunken it down to a very manageable number. And I do enjoy all these. I only have one liquid eyeliner. That's the e.l.f. one all the way at the end, but everything else is just like a standard eyeliner. Next we have mascaras. So last summer I had 3, 2 of them were minis, and now I'm down to 1. Now I have the e.l.f. Lash and Roll. I like this mascara. I was thinking to maybe have 2, like one that's a little bit more dramatic. But to be honest with you, I've been kind of slacking on wearing mascara, which is interesting. It's not hard to take off necessarily. This is like a tubing mascara, so it's like fine. But in my mind, I feel like it's easier to just not have any on when I'm taking my makeup off at night. I only have one right now, and I've been enjoying the one. And again, some days I don't even use it, which is crazy. Even when I have like a full face on, some days I don't even like bother putting it on. It's the wildest thing. So yeah, happy at 1. I don't like to increase this number. I'd like to go through my mascaras and not have a buildup of those, so that's perfect. Setting sprays, I had 2 last summer, and this summer I have 2 again. So as you can see, the one has swapped out. So I decluttered the Milani Make It Last because the bottle was just not performing anymore, the spray thing. The spray itself was fine, but I switched it up to the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Spray, which I've really been enjoying. And yeah, so the all-nighter is pretty used. There is a bit left in there, I think. I like to have 2 different types of sprays, like one that's more for, you know, bulletproofing your makeup for like hours kind of thing, and then the other one is just more to take away a powdery finish. I don't want this number increasing. I'm happy with having 2. Foundation, so I had 1 last summer and now I'm up to 2. I recently acquired, well, both of them are new, but the newest is the e.l.f. Halo Glow. So I don't really know if I'm going to use that by itself, but I didn't really know what category to put it in because I see it as more of like a mixer. So I figured I use it with my foundation, so lumped those together. I don't mind having 2 in this category. I wouldn't even be mad at pushing it up to 3, but I've been okay with just having these 2. I know my skin tone does change over the summer, but funny thing is it still seems to work right now. If my skin gets any darker, I might have to like add something else into the mix, but right now I've been using the shade that I would probably be using fall and winter, which is crazy. Yeah, I usually am 1 in, 1 out with foundation. And while again, I wouldn't be upset with increasing this by maybe like 1, I don't feel the need to. So I'd rather just keep it simple and stick with the numbers that I currently have. If I can last all summer with these 2, then that would be ideal. I've also used up like a bunch of foundations between last year and now. Yeah, basically just boiled down to these 2 at this point. So yeah, we're happy with this category. Face powders. Okay, so last year I had 5. In photos, there is a face palette there. 2 of those items are face powders, so I do count that in the numbers. So yeah, it was 5 and now it's down to 3. I recently just finished up the Laura Mercier translucent powder, which is super exciting. And now I can move on to the Lorac one. The ones in the palette, I don't really, in my mind, think of those as being like setting powders that I actually use. So in my mind, I only really have 2. I'm just gonna count those 2 anyway because they're there. Like I wouldn't like reach for those face powders in the palette at all, like normally. Like if I happen to have it open and I need to dab my face, maybe. I'm just trying to get through these. I don't particularly care that much about face powder as long as it does its job and it's finally milled and works. Like cool, we're good to go. So not much to say here, just thrilled that it came down by 1. And face powders do take me a long time to use up, even if I use them every time I use makeup. Like they're just a slower moving product. So I only have 1 face palette. Nothing's changed here. It's been the same face palette I've had for a couple of years now. This is the Revolution Iconic Lights and Contour palette. Even though it is the same palette, I just wanted to take a comparison photo to see if there was more visible usage, which I do kind of see with the rings on the bronzers on the bottom there. I don't really use the top a whole lot, so that doesn't really change. I primarily use this more for the bronzers, but yeah, I've gone back and forth about trying to declutter this, but then I end up using it and I like it, so it's kind of like it just stays and hangs out. So yeah, that's probably going to be their next inventory. So I'm not going to say I'm going to try to declutter it and have all these big grand plans for it because I probably won't do anything with it. Let's talk about bronzers. I had 11 bronzers last summer and now I'm down to 9. That's exciting that it came down by 2. I decluttered Betty Luminizer. It was just like way too pigmented for me, so I got rid of that one. The second product on the top there, the MAC Earth to Earth. That one I was using as a bronzer for a little bit. It's actually a blush, but I figured because of the color, it felt more like a bronzer. Then I realized as I was using it, I was kind of still using it as a blush, so I rolled that out of this category. I still own it, I just put it in the blush category. The palette has 4 bronzers in there, so that's still the same. And I finished up the Sonia Kashuk contour stick, which you'll see in the corner, that black stick, and I replaced that with the e.l.f. Halo Glow contour, which I literally just got like 2 days ago. So that's been the major changes, and I actually took another picture of them opened up just so I could see, like, again, visible progress. So you can see, if you're interested, like the changes there. You can see there's a pan in the Marc Jacobs one that was in a project, the Hoola bronzer on the bottom there that has expanded pan, and you can see like some more dips and stuff, so that's pretty cool. I'm happy with this category's numbers. I mean, I don't need to have this many. This category does not give me anxiety. I'm pretty pleased with the numbers here. Just don't want to like increase my numbers or anything like that. And of course, like lowering my number is always welcome. So I would like to finish like one or maybe hit pan in like another bronzer between now and whenever my next inventory is. That would be great, but I don't see myself like actively decluttering any of these at this moment. So that's fine. Highlighters. Last year I had 7 and I'm still at the same number. So I still have 7, the same exact ones. Nothing's changed here. I do really enjoy all of these. The only problem is, I said this in the last inventory video, where some of these pans are just like way too big for the amount of times I actually use these products. I just don't use a lot of highlighter most days. So like if you compare it to that, like this number's kind of high, but I do enjoy these. And again, not really one that causes me much anxiety. I'm fine with this. And like I did with the last product, I want to see like pan comparisons to see if anything has changed. The MAC highlighter now has a pan in it. The Physicians Formula cream highlighter on the top right, that I can see the rings a little bit more, and the bottom 3 kind of look alike. So I know that there's more visual progress in real life, but you can't really make that out too well in the pictures. But yeah, fine with this category. Wouldn't be mad at having less, but that probably won't happen anytime soon. Let's move on to blush. This category I'm not that excited about, but 15 blushes last summer, and that number has increased to 16. Not because I bought any, but because I rolled over the MAC Earth to Earth back into the blush category, because that wasn't in that category last year, so it's back. And I also have the Bobbi Brown blush, which I said I was going to declutter, and then I decided I still liked it, and now it's back in my collection again. So yeah, I recently talked about that in my last declutter video, and here it is. So I am least satisfied with this category of all my categories. The last time there was a bigger drop off in my blush number was July of 2022. So when I did the inventory 6 months before that, I was at 23, and then it went down to 18. And then ever since then, it's kind of been a very slow like movement. So 18 down to 17, now it's down to 16. So it is coming down, but I feel like at this point there should be less than that. So this is a category that I really want to work with over the next couple months to a year, and just kind of see what's going on with that and why it's not dropping off. And the reality is, maybe I just like having these blushes. Like that could just be it, and maybe we should let it go a little bit and just accept that. But part of me doesn't accept that. I don't want to have this many blushes, but same thing. I'm just going to keep using them like I've always been using them, and kind of be more intentional about like comparing them maybe, and seeing how I really feel about these as I use them, and if I really need to have this many, because I know I don't, but I also can't justify getting rid of them right now. I don't know. And if you're somebody who loves blush and you have a higher number, and this is nothing against anybody else, this is just like a personal thing. It's just the fact that I've had the same amount ish for like the past like 2 years is kind of like stressing me out a little bit. I don't know if I can focus on a blush to finish it. Like I don't see myself finishing any of them. So we'll see what happens here, but the goal is not to have this many. I've said before, I only need like maybe 5 or 6. So this is a little bit high for me. We'll see how this evolves, and I really hope it does. I'll show you a picture of everything opened up, if there's any visual progress, because I know there is some. Like pans are expanding in some of them. The Glossier ones look really loved compared to last year. So I am at least seeing movement there that way, maybe just not with the numbers. So yeah, we'll see where this category is headed, but I know this is one of those areas I do want to focus on, whether it's in projects, etc. Lip gloss and lip balms, which I probably should separate that into 2 categories, but I've kind of kept them together. I don't know. So for lip gloss, I had 7 the last inventory, and now I'm down to 4. For lip balm, I had 2 last summer, and now I'm up to 4. So I had 9 altogether last summer, and now I'm down to 8. Yeah, some I finished. Blistex I just bought, that came in a pack of 2. And I'm also thinking about rolling the Beekman 1802 into the lipstick category, because that's a colored lip balm, and I wouldn't normally use that as like a regular lip balm for like chapped lips. You know what I mean? So I might roll that into the lipstick category, but it's just in there for this one. Yeah, this has come down by 1. I'm always going to have like a chapstick, you know, like I'm not I don't like buy a ton of chapsticks. I just use up the ones I have and then I replace them. It's not a big deal. You can see that the Essence lip gloss in the middle with the silver cap, that has come down quite a bit. I hope to finish that soon. And the NYX ones, I finished up one of those, which is great. I love the NYX butter glosses, I really do, but these colors are a little bit, yeah, they're not gonna be like everyday ones, I don't think. So this category isn't really an issue for me. I just have what I have and we'll try to pan stuff as I move along and replace stuff as I move along, so that's fine. Happy that it is down by one though. Lipstick. So I do count lip liners as lipsticks because that's how I use them. So last summer I had 24 and this summer I have 19. So I'm now under 20, which is very exciting. I could buy new things and refresh this a little bit and declutter the really old things, but I think they all perform okay. Like I've decluttered a bunch already that haven't performed well, so I do get rid of things because I don't really wear super pigmented colors and bright colors like a lot of the time, but I do like to mix things, and sometimes like the mood does strike where I do want to wear a bright thing, but it's not too often. So I feel like this is okay for now. I obviously want this to decrease. I have one in a project pan right now, and eventually start incorporating newer lip products because we just want fresher stuff in our collection. It's been long enough that I've had all of these, so we're still kind of working through this and you know, slowly kind of figuring it out, but it is trending downward, so I'm happy about that, and I expect it to only go downward from here. Also, the tiny little Charlotte Tilbury is the newest thing. I think it was like a Sephora birthday thing or a point perk or something. So that's exciting that I have a new lip product to play with, but that's like the only new thing I've acquired in years. So yeah, this number I'm happy with. I was very curious to see how that had evolved since last year, so I'm happy that we're now under 20. That's very exciting. Eyeshadow palettes, I still have the same 5. Nothing has really changed there. Take a look and see that there's more usage in some of the palettes. Like these are like mirror images, sort of. I tried to make it the same, but I don't know if you can tell. Modern Renaissance definitely has way more pans in it than last year. Some have more dips, things like that. Not the Brazil palette, the really colorful one. That one doesn't really change much year to year. But yeah, so while the number is still the same, I am seeing more usage on some of them. And yeah, I don't know. Like this is fine. I do use the palettes a decent amount. So they do get love. Yeah, so for me, these work for now. I probably need to start considering the age of these because these are all old. The newest one is the Naked 3, and that is even starting to get older now too, because I think I got that like 2 Christmases ago or something. 2 or 3 Christmases ago. I don't remember when I got that one, but that's like the newest of all of them. The rest I got in like 2017, 18. Like, so I have to kind of start thinking about these things, and I don't really notice a huge difference in the performance. I think they're fine. Actually, the Modern Renaissance one, that's starting to look a little, you know, well, I think it's also the type of eyeshadow it is too. It's just very powdery, but it still works. So I don't know. I'm just going to keep these until I have stronger feelings about decluttering them. So they're fine. Now we have the Eyeshadow Singles. This is exciting. This does include a Smashbox Trio, which I've just been counting that as one eyeshadow. I don't know if I should or not, but I've just, yeah. So with the trio that I'm counting as one, I had 53 Eyeshadow Singles last July, and now I am down to 41 singles. Most of those were declutters, and one of them I think I actually used up like a small sample of a pigment. So that's super exciting. This has been haunting me for years, and I'm finally starting to see it shrink down to more manageable numbers, and I still see this coming down further. I'm starting to see now colors that I don't need multiple types of, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm being a little bit more judgier with performance. Bare Mineral eyeshadows, I shrunk that down. I only have 6 left of those now. And the MAC ones, I'm starting to be more discerning with those. So I'm not worried anymore about these Eyeshadow Singles because I think that they've come down pretty well over the years. And that's a category that I'm not as anxious about at all. Like, I don't even think of these compared to my blush category. Like, these are not a worry for me. I know that those will continue to shrink down. I expect this to come down like a slow and steady pace, like kind of how it's been doing. So that's great. I'm very happy that this category is coming down. Yeah. And I think also the performance of these, it's been obvious like that some of them just don't work the way they used to. Like the ColourPop ones dried out. Like that was an easy declutter. And like even the Ulta crayons that I have, like those are starting to get a little weird. So that makes it easier to get rid of stuff. This is my last category. It's nail polish. So last summer I had 66 and now I'm down to 60. And that does include my base coat and my top coat. So it has come down by 6. And I have brought back the orange Essie color that I said I was going to declutter. I did put that back in, but we're still down by 6, so I'm happy about that. This, I also don't want to be this high. I've been kind of decluttering this organically, like as I do manicures or pedicures throughout the year, I kind of like see how the colors look on me now. That I'm a little bit pickier about that, like the whole color theory thing. Like there's just some colors that I like better with my skin tone than others. So that has been helpful with me decluttering some, as well as them just like not performing as well or being super old. Some of them I didn't want to declutter because I, you know, always loved the shade. Like, what is it, 16 Candles on My Birthday Cake or something by OPI was like my favorite nail polish color, but I had to get rid of it because it wasn't performing. So I'm sure there's like a bunch more that I could declutter. I just haven't gotten to them yet. I think it's going to continue going downwards. It's just going to be like an organic declutter. Like, and I also don't do my nails every single week. Like there are times when I have bare nails as well. So I want to factor that into like how many nail polishes I should have. And I've also been doing back to back the same color a lot too. So it's all interesting. I, of course, don't want to have 60 nail polishes at this point in my life. Like, it was really fun playing with all the colors throughout my life, and I really enjoy them, and I got a lot of use and love out of them. But it's just, yeah, like at this point, they're just getting too old, and I need to kind of start parting with more of them. It's just a matter of time. So that's where we're at with that. So yeah, some final thoughts on this. I am pleased with my numbers trending downwards. I feel like that's been a steady thing for the past couple of years. That's kind of been my goal. Yeah, this does make me want to ramp up my projects again, or like kind of revisit using products a little bit more again. I kind of fell off that maybe the past 2 months. Like I took a break from my rolling 10 project pan because I just wanted to kind of take a break from project panning or usage goals or anything and just enjoy my, you know, less makeup routine. But it's interesting because now I'm starting to feel a little bit different, and I think we need to if we're going to figure out this blush situation. But thank you for sticking with me through this inventory video. Consider liking and subscribing. We'd love to have you, and have a great day, and thank you again so much for watching. Bye!